Hello viewers, welcome back to another exciting video of Career Advice. And in our video series of SAP PC, I'm uploading the third video today. And in this video, we will be learning about the practical aspects of video 1 and video 2 that we have discussed. So those guys who have not seen our earlier two videos, go back to the series. You can go back to the playlist and search for SAP PC playlist, and there I have sequenced it one by one. First was the first one, second one, then the today's video, where we will be talking more of a practical sense to video 1 and 2. If you think that we are doing a good job, and we are doing a good job. So if you think that we are doing a good job and putting a lot of efforts to create such content, do press the subscribe button and let your friends also subscribe our channel as well, and keep enjoy the video. Thank you. In day 2 I have already covered this. What is your org structure, org, etc. You can go through. So how to create a org structure? Org structure you cannot create it via NWBC. Org structure you have to create it. The first one, the root org with the child org, first one, it has to be created via SPRO. Okay, SPRO is the T code in SAP. So if you execute SPRO and follow this path, like when you execute SPRO, it will come like this, and here you go to governance, risk, compliance, and create the root org hierarchy. So this will create your root org with the child org, the first unit. Okay. Now here for our example, we will create like SP20, for example, SP20_global. Now you remember the first one I said, these are the time dependent data. That means you have to give a time from when you want to activate the process control. Okay, so I have given the validity is from 2019, let's per se. Now, once it is created, once you create this one, click on this one, the root org will get created automatically. Okay, along with the child org. Now, when we go to NWBC, and make sure you provide this time data. Now, and in NWBC, and you go to organizations in NWBC screen, make sure you provide this one. This is what, then only your SP20 global, whatever we have created, will get displayed under NWBC. Otherwise it won't, because these are the time dependent data. So if you give some other range, some other data will come up. Okay, with time frame, or if I want to change any data or update, system won't allow it. What I had said earlier, since these are the time dependent data or the org unit, processes, etc., everything has to be followed under same date range. Everything has to be followed under same time pattern. Otherwise it will give an error. In fact, it won't allow for you to create it. For example, here I tried to give some other date. It says that it's failed because it's not the current time frame. Okay, what I'm trying to do here, I'll tell you, because inside this I'm trying to create some stuff which I will display it later. So in NWBC, when you go and display it under SP20 global, it will come like this. There, here we have like sub-process, regulation, group UC, regulations, and the policies. What are the objectives, key indicators? Those stuff will come into the picture. Now you see under general, you need to fill it up all these details. Star mark is mandatory. Name, what is the name, description, etc. And the country, currency, if it is for country specific. For example, if it is for India, then it is a, though it doesn't have much of the correlation, but it is a mandatory field because that's how your controls will run. Okay, so if I go down, this is how you create NWBC, and you just need to fill up this data. I will describe it on the down line what all need to be filled up in the organization. But your org has been created. Okay. Now remember again the what we have to create first vertical is root, or second is business process structure. How to create a business process structure. Now there is again a I would say interview question over here. So in AC, so please do follow our channel. I'll also share and like our videos, because you are getting both the theoretical practical knowledge as well as the interview questions over. So please guys appreciate our effort. So in AC, the business process the business process comes out of the box, which is the business process system itself provides the business process via BC set. So when we activate the BC set, someday I'll try to put AC videos, access control videos. So when we activate the BC set via SP SCPR 20 by 20 T code, the BC sets will get activated. So when you get activated the BC set, the SAP provided out of box master data gets populated. However, in PC it is not the case. In PC we have to create it. So whatever you are seeing over here, you see this is under access control, and the out of the box BC set, all these processes are there. However, in PC we have to create it. And what is the processes are like OTC, RTR, MM, sub finance, etc. So normally in an organization 7 to 8 processes exist. Okay, so in PC we have to create those processes. They don't come by default. Now under remember process, then the sub process. What is a sub process? Sub process is a subset of a process. It is part of a process. It helps to group a couple of processes inside a business process. So in PC, not like AC, PC business process need to be created based on requirement, which we have already discussed. Now, how to create business process in PC? You don't have to follow SPRO back code, though you can create it, but NWBC you can absolutely create it. So in NWBC, this is the path: NWBC master data activities process business process. And remember, this process and business process and sub process, these are the mandatory fields. Okay, these two are same in between AC and PC, name and description, but in PC the difference is you have to attach a regulation to a sub process. Okay, as per the flow, the org structure that I had shown you before. I'm telling that again and again so that you will remember it. So in PC, sub process has additional field requirement, which is called regulation, which is in difference with AC. So in PC, controls are categorized with respect to risk, with respect to sub-process and process. Yes, this is very important. So in PC process control, all process control is what? To manage the systems controls. Now all these controls are categorized with like this is SOX control. SOX is your IT risk. So if now there is some other like FDA control and Coupa control. So all those controls are categorized with respect to what other risk. So IT risk will have a different category and its business process. For example, IT will reside under this IT 00, and your HR and payroll risk will come under this HR and payroll. Similarly, IT will reside not IT 00 but under basis. Sorry. Okay. Similarly, procure to pay OTC. So that's how those subprocess and process and control risk are categorized in PC. So the flow is process, subprocess, control, and risk. Hope I have explained you well. Okay, if you want to define risk, then it is needed. Otherwise, client will use existing risks and group it under a control. So which is a fair ask, because in some of the clients they have AC already in place, then only they go for PC. It's not the reverse that I have a PC and then I will go for AC. It is all most of the cases it is always AC is there, then I will go to the PC. Okay, so so if they have already, then you need to group it. Otherwise, you don't need to. So below now, how to create a control in PC? This is the mandatory field for a control: name, description, regulation, trigger. Trigger is what triggers that control. Okay, what is the purpose of the control? What type of control it is? Whether it is automated, semi-automated, manual control, etc. And testing. What kind of testing is needed? Here, there we have to define the threshold values. Like if it is automated, if it is 90% um, threshold is complete, then it is passed. Similarly, semi-automated, what is the threshold values and what kind of testing automation? That what we need to define under a control. And the control attributes. Control attributes, it varies from regulation to regulation, which we will see down the line. Like COVID has different attribute, COSOL has different attribute. Okay, so this varies from like IT control, they will have different attributes, etc. This varies from control to control. Okay, now let's go back to the practical again. What create a business process of SAP Process Control. Now, how to create a business process? I have already given you the path: NWBC, GRC Process Control, master data, and create a business process under activity processes. So when you click on it, it will give you the process structure. And once you create the create button, it will give the all those process. This one will come and you need to fill it up, right? So central process. So here again, you remember the timeline. It is time dependent. So name and description, you have already filled up. Attachment, if necessary, you attach the document that describes about what is this process is. Okay. Now, business process will have some data that is coming from AC master data as below. This is the interview question as well. Can you use the AC master data in PC? The answer is yes. Now, if you want to use AC and PC, then this field need to be implemented. This is the business process, that which of the master data of access control that you want to use. So remember, AC has the master data comes out of the box. So once you select it, it will be integrated with PC. Otherwise, it's not necessary. But if your client requirement is no, I want to create a common master data between AC and PC, and I want to integrate both, then this is the answer. And this is also a, what is that? Star interview question. Okay, so this is also the interview question. Please do like, share, subscribe. Yes. Hopefully I like it. Okay, now I have to create a subprocess. Subprocess is also always inside a process because it's a subset of process. Now subprocess, there are three mandatory fields. What is that? Three: name, description, and the control. Name, this is validity from 2. If you want to use, you can use it. Otherwise, you have to the regulation. Details are filled. If you want to attach the business sub process, attach it, else it is keep it blank. This is not a mandatory field. Remember the validity range. Attach SOX regulations to sub process. You can attach it to multiple regulation. Yes, now you see the earlier way I was saying that what is the regulation is a mandatory field. I am using SOX regulation out of the box, which is coming, which is already there in the system. SOX is already provided by PC, which I have already explained in day 1 or 2. If you don't have, you go back, check. So regulation, I am attaching SOX regulation. Now here the question is again, is it that only one regulation can be attached to a sub process? The answer is no. You can always attach multiple sub processes to the regulation. So click OK. This regulation is attached and submit it. Your sub process is created. Now what is the third? You have to create the control. Now creating a control, again, process control. So when you create the control, keep the same date range inside sub process. All this field will get populated. Now you fill all this name, description, etc. So here the important fields I am explaining about. So I have written it that explain the fields, and that is important. So name, description, importance, validity from to you see. So earlier, so there we have written it as like the what is the event based trigger, what is the date based trigger. For example, this control need to be triggered before the payroll is executed. So I can write a date over here. For example, some event is need to happen first, then this control will be triggered. I can mention over that. And for example, here control category. There are different control categories. Most of the time we will use transactional level control because we want to cover the T codes, etc. Now, level of evidence required, see no testing, self-assessment. This thing are mostly required for your reporting purpose, that whether this control needs any testing or not, whether this data of this control needs any testing or not. I will explain you in the later part of our video series. But as of now, remember that these are the needed for your reporting purpose. Okay, you see the test automation here, you have automated, semi-automated, manually. Now how these fields are getting populated? These fields are getting populated from SPRO. By default, system has these fields. Okay, so depends on test, entire assessment workflow depends on test automation settings. Yes, and test automation settings, if it is a automated control, there is no manual intervention. If it is semi-automated, there will be a bit of manual intervention. If it is manual, it is complete manual intervention. The system won't do anything. For a automated control, there will be workflows written. Semi-automated, it depends on the how much you want to do automation and how much manual. Manual is nothing. It's completely manual. Okay. Now the what is this? There is not much difference between detective and preventive control. Preventive is you want to avoid the risk to happen before it comes to the system. Detective is once the system is inside, then your control is running and it will detect the purpose. But in practically, there is not much difference between detective and preventive control. Okay, all these pre-populated fields are coming from SAP by itself, right? Post installation activities, which I have already explained. Now, for example, control category, I have given a example. This one, transactional level control, from where it comes. You see, if I take, you can see under PR category, control category, what is it? Direct, IT general, transaction level control. So basically, these are the reporting purpose that, okay, what kind of control categories? It's a direct, IT general control, transactional level control, which comes from system by default during post installation activities. Guys, these are a bit difficult to understand, but when you go into the system, try to execute this thing in sequence, create process, a process, first org, child org, process, a process, then the control. Then you will be able to have more understanding, because PC is difficult to understand first in a business term. Okay. Now similarly, this is the automated semi-automated manual. This also comes from system. For an automated control, system will fetch output and populate the result, pass or fail. Semi-automated system will fetch output, but control owner will take action after verifying the output. Everything is manual, and this is I have already explained. Okay. Now, purpose is defective or preventive, which uh, means is PRO setting change to something, then some action will be triggered automatically. This is preventive. Like if something has been changed, then some action will get triggered. Okay. Detective is action after some event has already occurred, but you need to take an action. So this is layman language. I don't have to explain in detail what is preventive, what is detective. Okay, basically preventive, what I'm trying here as an example, what I'm trying to give is for SPRO stuff, we use preventive control, and like SU01 access before assignment, SU01 control gets triggered not to assign. This is preventive. Once SU01 is assigned by some means, then system will detect it. Somebody has assigned directly SU01. So system will detect it that, okay, hey, this is guy is having SU01, just remove it. So there are two way to look into it. Like, okay, so detective is also I have already explained. Now in PC, everything is detective technically. However, the theory is for above reference. Now we have to look at the control groups. So in the hierarchy again, we have to go back and say that we need to group the control, right? This I have given the, so this control need to be grouped. If there are multiple controls, if there is only one control, it's not needed. Now grouping the controls, it's only used for reporting purpose, right? If there are multiple controls under a category, so you have to group it. Now under creating a control, you see all these fields I have already explained. Now control group, you see you can group it under something like this, compliance and regulation, or some other thing, or some other control, or control based on environment, health, or categories, whatever you have. But this is basically to run the dashboard reports. Now if you want to use an event based control, click it that I was explaining, else date. Most likely we are using date only. We don't use event based control. That is, I mean, it's I haven't seen practically how to use event based control. Sorry, maybe some people explain it. Some people use it event based control, but I basically use date based control. So if the control is automated, then keep the test automation is automated as well, so that assessment will happen automatically. Yes, this is very important. If it is a automated control, then you have to make sure that the test automation is AUT as well, so that once automated control output is triggered, then the test automation will kick in and it will validate that data and it will pass or fail the control. However, based on semi-automated and automated, you can decide based on that. If it is automated, make sure you will select automated test automation as well. Okay. All CCM controls need to be tested. What is CCM? Continuous control maintenance. Always recommend to enable testing for all controls, which I have already briefed through. Kind of testing you want to use. All the testing techniques are for reporting purpose. Yes. In case you want to restrict one particular frequency, then operation frequency is needed. What is this operation frequency, guys? If someone asks you this question, at what frequency you want to test this, or you want to restrict this control? You want to restrict this control at what frequency? I want to run it, let's say quarterly. So I can maintain quarterly frequency. I can, if I want to run it daily, for example, SU01, someone is having SU01 or not in production. So that control need to be run daily. So I can maintain it as like daily control. Okay. In case you want to, this is needed. Input output field is needed for manual control, which we need to brief basically how to pass or fail the control output. Okay, the giving instructions, basically a doc file that is needed. Okay. So hope you guys have understood till now. This class is a bit longer to it's because there are a lot of concepts I'm explaining it through. I'm not going to the system clicking and executing because it takes time, first of all, and currently I don't have a server, but I have taken the, while I was doing the testing from my lab server, I got I took the screenshots and so that I can brief you during the class. Okay, so and you create this accordingly in your own system. So only one regulation was added to subprocess. In subprocess, you remember we have added only SOX. We can add multiple regulation to a subprocess. Since only one was added, only one subprocess, only in a control, only one regulation will come into the place, will come effective. If there are two, then here also you will get multiple option two. Otherwise, we are creating only SOX regulation here as an example. So only SOX regulation is added. Okay. Now it is added. Anything else here I need to explain? No. For each process, we can create n number of subprocess. For each subprocess, we create n number of controls. Yes. Example. I've given a lot of example, man. ठीक है. तो अभी क्या है, अभी फिर से और एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं अपन लोग, और एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं, तो वी क्रिएट वन मोर कंट्रोल इनसाइड द सब प्रोसेस. ठीक है, सो वन मोर कंट्रोल इनसाइड द सब प्रोसेस. So here I'm creating another control because I can create multiple controls inside. So I'm creating another control, SP20 ITGC security SAP all. However, the earlier one was procure to pay. ठीक है. So SAP all control, let's say SAP all is SOX regulation. So we have created root org, child org, process, subprocess, control, assigned. All these things are created. Individual verticals are created, right? Now what do we need to do? We need to link all these master data to org, the first vertical, right? Now how to, you have already remembered this one now, right? Inside control, regulation groups, etc. Subprocess assignment to org. Once we link the subprocess to org, ultimately regulation and control will get linked to global org. Yes. Once we assign the subprocess to org, because everything is linked to inside, so this will get linked as well. Now there is a catch over here. Subprocess assignment to org. So this a bit of advanced concept is, do you want to make a local changes or you want to make it as a global only? Like if you assign this one, if you assign this to vertical to here, do you want to keep any option over here, this root org, child org, this global org structure, to have a global, like you remember the master derived role concept in security. Exactly, this is this. So if the master, when you want to change something in the master, all these org structures will come into the play. Only the fields you can change in the derived role. However, the orgs will come directly from the master role. Exactly, this is the case. Under a global control, if the local country control want to keep some changes to local control along with global control, master derived role relationship model, allow local changes. If I made it as a no, only reference will be created. You cannot be able to make any local level changes, which I will show you as an example. Let's create a control by NWBC. So here there are two controls created. Okay. We have create another control PTP2 by taking a control of PTP, which is fine, right? We have created multiple control. Okay, and this is SP20, and this is subprocess for a this subprocess SP20 P2P. I have created two control. For ITGC, I have created two control SAP all debug change. Okay, by copied it, and I've done the copy here by creating a copy. No content change, only copied it to a new one called debug change. Now let's link. Okay, let's link together. So both sub business process has two control. Let's go to organizations now. Inside this same path, give the data range. These are already currency, etc. stuff. So above two sub-orgs, India and England for our example. दो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हम लोगों ने क्रिएट किए SP20 ग्लोबल के अंदर. एक इंडिया और एक इंग्लैंड यूके. Okay, now let's assign sub process. So this is to give you the flavor of what is allow local changes or allow no, don't allow local changes. Okay, so let's go to the here and here two controls we have created. Now let's go to the assign sub process. Let's assign sub process to SP20 India. SP20 India. Okay, assigning sub process to SP20 India, which is our root org. I mean child org. Okay, SP20 India select sub process. So when I go to SP20 India, selecting a sub process, here it will come to. So here you see SP20 India here, all these processes are coming, which by default system has something. So we are playing around SP20 ITGC security and SP20 subprocess invoice payments, which is P2P. So inside this process, so inside this is the process, this is the subprocess. You remember two stuff we have created, right? Now, so allow local level changes. So here subprocess we are assigning to SP20 India time frame. Allow local level changes. Here if I am making it as yes, allow local level changes. So that means inside this subprocess SP20 and ITGC security and invoicing payment, I have created as a local level changes under SP20 India. Now you see the next stage I will have option to make some changes. So for example, under ITGC security, I had two controls, SAP all and debug change. I can remove I am getting an option over here to remove one particular control, which is not required. This is happened because I have allowed a local level changes under SP20 org. Okay, under SP20 org, when we are assigning, when we assigned the subprocess SP20 ITGC security, so it allowed the option to remove to make any local level changes. Okay, so when you do it in system, you will have better understanding. So you do it. So select control, you will give these options. You can remove it. You can remove this automatically. Controls associated with ITGC name, these two came to SP20 India. Now I removed for our example, I removed debug. So when I remove debug and I click next, remove debug change for invoicing payments as well. So I removed debug change and I submitted it. Okay, now assigning subprocess to SP20 India. Assigning subprocess to SP ये क्या? हाँ, okay, now when I removed it and click next and submitted, you see the debug change is removed. Now if I go to SP20 India and review it, I'll be only be able to see under ITGC security, only one only one control is there. Debug change is not there. Only P2P control, not P2P, sorry, SAP all control is available inside ITGC security. They see ITGC security, only one control is available. The other one is not available because I have removed it. Similarly, if we go to SP20 England and do the same thing, however, we will not allow the local level changes. SP20 England selected the two controls, ITGC security and invoicing payments. So here I have made it as allow local level changes. No. Since I have made local level changes as no, the remove button is gayab over here. So see, the remove button is not available because because it is totally from, there is no local level changes. Everything under SP20 England, whatever I change, everything is attached to the subprocess and the controls inside the subprocess. You cannot make any changes to SP20 England level now. So here there is no option to deselect the controls since the allow changes is set to no. Okay, now you cannot make any changes. There is no option to uncheck. That means you click on submit it. Now, again an interview question over here. What is the best practice to make allow local level changes yes or allow local level changes no? The best practice is allow local level changes yes, because once you created this master data structure, you cannot change down the line. Okay, this is one time activities, so it is always better, because down the line if customer says that okay, no, I want to change it, you have to recreate all those stuff. So always as a best practice, make it as allow local level changes, so that you can change locally any control you want to deassociate from the org, you can deassociate like this. Now we have finished a talk about org structure and we have created the org structure as well. I hope you guys have well understood how to create a org structure. Okay, so please do replicate it in your system. Now, once the org structure is created, the next thing we will talk about is the master data. Sorry, not the master data, is called transactional data. What is the transactional data? Now, before we have talked about the login procedure, what are the master data, this too we have talked about, and we haven't talked about what is a transactional data. What it was the transactional data, basically how and who and where and what is based on what rule the data from child systems which are connected to PC will get passed. Basically, you define a data source. That means from where the data will come to PC, under what rule, what is the parameter. OLSP is nothing but a database concept. This is quite old now, so you don't have to worry about OLSP. Okay, now continuous compliance protection, transactional data, how PC will collect data from child system based on condition, as in brief. Okay, what happens is data source is what? Data source is a container, basically backend system, a satellite system, which has a lot of data, right? Transactional data, day-to-day activities, all those things gets recorded in that backend systems, and that is a container for you. Now, those containers will send the data, or from those plugin systems will send the data to actual PC system to process those data and to validate the controls. Okay, the object which tells the PC how to extract the data from plugin system, basically it will give you that okay, out of SS16 table there are 100 records. Out of 100 records, I need only 3 records for sampling to validate the control. Okay, so based on the rule, so basically PC will define the rule, and that rule will run on the plugin systems, and the plugin systems will have data, and that will fetch the raw data to PC for processing. What is a business rule? Actually, it's a logic only. That's it. That out of 100 records, how to select the 3 records or 4 records based on your control requirement. Where business rule has actually what is the logic resides in the business rule, how the monitoring will actual monitoring logic basically. So once data source pulls the data from plugin system in BR, we can apply in the user specific logic as per the control requirement, which I have already briefed. It is basically nothing but how this selection criteria out of 100. Let's say I want to filter out any people who has SAP all or SAP new in the with their user profile from last 1 month. Okay, so what will I do? I'll go to UST04. I'll pass the SAP or SAP new, and I will see which all has happened the records. Basically, if I have to find out that okay, I have which all users has SAP or SAP new under uh, in S4 system. How will I find out? I'll go to UST04. I'll pass SAP or SAP new. I'll pass all the users, and I'll check last 1 month who has family, friends, whosoever you want. Thank you. See you in the next video.